Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Blue Corner and to another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and this is once again going to be regarding Mikankos. Glad to see you guys liked the deck profile I put up, and a couple people have asked for some combos. I did put up one combo already, but we're going to do a couple more as well as some noteworthy interactions you can do with this deck. And yeah, this is not everything you can do with the deck. I still don't know all the lines and the combos you can do. Pure Mikanko, Kaiju Mikanko, hasn't really been labbed a whole lot outside of like a couple of Japanese builds because the West is more fixated on the Libromancer build for the time being. So if there's stuff I miss, post down below so we can just add to the overall list of combos you can do with Mikanko. So with that being said, yeah, let's get started. Now, a basic one you will be doing, especially if you are going second, is Ohime in a discard against your opponent's board. This line allows you to Zeus your opponent by just committing a couple cards. So you're going to have Ohime search Ceremony and discard a random card. Then you're going to have Ceremony special Ohime. And then you're going to banish the Ceremony in order to send Rondo from the deck to the graveyard. You could also send Aberrask, but this is the easiest way to do it. So you'll activate Ohime's effect, target the Rondo, and then on resolution, equip it to one of your opponent's monsters. You'll then steal your opponent's monster, and because it's a monster you've taken from your opponent, you can treat it as a level 6. So you can overlay and go into the the Dhampir Vampire Sheridan. And with this, you now have the option to pop a monster or just any card they control. I believe it targets... yeah. So it targets a card, but it sends it to the graveyard instead of destroys. So it does bypass destruction protection. And then you can also detach material to special summon back a monster that was either killed in battle or sent to the graveyard by your effect. But you could also just leave the materials on this guy like this, and if your opponent happens to have a smaller monster or something in defense position, you can then stack a Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger on top of it, go in the battle phase, swing, and then main phase 2, go in the Zeus. And now you have a 4 material Zeus, and it took Ohime and Ceremony plus a discard to get you there. You got the rest of your hand to do stuff, and yeah, that is a line you can do. Similarly, if you have a kaiju, it's a similar thing. You give your opponent a kaiju, and then you have Ohime take the kaiju using Rondo, and you overlay the kaiju and Ohime into Sheridan, and that gives you a better chance of swinging your Sheridan or Thunder Charger into an open board state, which then lets you make the Zeus. Next, we're going to see what happens when you have Ohime and a Kaiju and a discard. It's not lethal, but it gets your opponent very close to lethal. So if you've done any amount of damage, you can kill your opponent off. So what you do is you activate Ohime and use her once again to search Legend. Afterwards, you'll discard your card, and then if you haven't already done so, you Kaiju your opponent. You'll activate Ceremony, Special Ohime, and then you'll banish the Ceremony in order to either send Rondo or Aberrask. You'll send the Rondo in this case, and then you're going to move into battle phase. You'll have Ohime attack the Kaiju, and they take 3,300. Afterwards, you'll have Ohime target the Rondo in the graveyard, and equip it to the Kaiju to take control of it. Afterwards, you can then beat over a monster or swing directly. If it's a direct swing, then you've already dealt 6,600 damage to the opponent. So you've put them within a pretty good range to get killed. As if you're able to resolve Kagura with 2 equip spells in the graveyard, you will burn them for lethal on the next turn. And yeah, that's pretty straightforward there. Alright, now let's do some of these plays with Aberrask in mind. So you're going to go a little harder with your lines, but it's still the same thing. So Kaiju, your opponent's most important monster. Then you'll have Ohime search the Ceremony, and then discard your random card. Then you're going to activate Ceremony to special summon Ohime. Then you're going to banish the Ceremony out of your graveyard in order to now send Aberrask. because you're going to kaiju your opponent's monster again. So if they have 2 monsters on board, this is actually a lethal. This is potential game. So you'll send the Aberrasque to the graveyard. You'll activate the Ohime targeting the Aberrasque. Equip it to the kaiju. Then you'll activate Aberrasque and special summon a Mikanko monster with a different name than the one that you already have in play. So in this case it would be Hare or Huli. So in this case it's going to be Hare. So you'll special summon Hare and you'll return the kaiju back to your hand. Hare will now trigger, allowing you to search another Mikanko spell. If you're attempting to break your opponent's board, it can be Rondo. If you have another name in your hand and you want to keep extending, it'll be Fire Dance. Or if you want to get rid of some back row, it could be Mayo Shidori. So in this case, we'll grab Rondo. And then what you do is you can give your opponent another kaiju. And from here, you can either Rondo, take the kaiju, and then overlay the kaiju and the Ohime into a Sheridan and swing and go for a Zeus line. Or you can swing into that kaiju twice for 6,600 damage. Then in main phase 2, take the kaiju and do stuff with Sheridan. Or just go into, what's her name, IP Masquerena. So you can go into a Unicorn Accent line. So there is that. If you have a Mayo Shidori, what you can do is you can equip the Mayo Shidori onto the Ohime. And instead you can swing after battle, Mayo Shidori, bounce the kaiju back to the hand. And now you've got a kaiju in hand and your 2 Mikanko monsters in play. And that's pretty much the extent of that. Next, we're going to show what happens when you open with Ohime, Hare, and a kaiju. This is lethal if your opponent has 2 monsters. If they don't, it's not lethal, but you're still cracking their board. So the line of play is going to be, you're going to kaiju your opponent's best monster, hopefully one with a negate effect. Then you're going to activate Ohime in order to search Ceremony. You'll then discard the Hare. Then you'll activate Ceremony to special summon Ohime. And you will banish the Ceremony in order to send Mayo Shidori from your deck to the graveyard. You will then activate the Mayo Shidori, targeting the Hare, and special summon it back. Hare will trigger, allowing you to search Aberrasque. You'll equip the Aberrasque onto the kaiju and activate the effect of the Aberrasque in order to special summon back Huli and bounce the kaiju to the hand. Huli will then trigger, allowing you to search Rivalry. Then you give the opponent a kaiju over their other monster, and as long as the kaiju has 2,700 attack or more, this is lethal because you'll just swing, and swing. After that third battle, if they're somehow not dead, Mayo Shidori is going to bounce back the kaiju. And you can pass turn with 3 Mikankos in play, plus the trap card, allowing you to steal a monster. Or if you've already got the Rondo, you can equip the Purification Dance to a Hare or a Huli to get another search or just another search. And you will be able to interfere with the opponent's board. So now we're going to do some stuff with Huli. It's kind of similar to what you do with Hare, except you're not going to be utilizing Aberrasque. You'll be just not breaking the opponent's board completely, but more just cracking some of it by having some follow-up. So what you'll do is you'll activate Ohime, and you're going to search Ceremony, and then you're going to discard Huli. Obviously, you're going to kaiju your opponent's best monster. You'll then activate Ceremony to special summon Ohime, banish the Ceremony, and then you're going to send Mayo Shidori to the graveyard and activate Huli's effect, Mayo Shidori's effect, special summon the Huli with it equipped, and then Huli's effect will grab you Rivalry. And then you're just going to go into battle phase, and you're going to swing. They take 3,300, and swing. They take 3,300. Mayo Shidori's effect is going to bounce this back to the hand. And then afterwards, you can set your Rivalry, and you would pass the turn. So you've dealt over half of your opponent's life. You've kaiju'd their best monster. You can do it again, honestly. And you got the kaiju back to your hand after that battle. So you can get rid of another monster. And your trap card will allow you to equip either the Rondo to their monster to steal it, or the Purification Dance to your monster, so you get a bounce. For this combo, we're going to assume we have opened with Hare and Abaresk, which is not impossible. Hare is a 2 to 3 of, and Abaresk is a 2 to 3 of in the deck. So a reasonable chance of seeing this 2-card combo. So you're going to normal summon Hare and equip Abaresk to her. Hare's effect is going to trigger, allowing you to either grab Purification Dance or Fire Dance, Rondo. You have options, so we are going to go with the Fire Dance. We're going to go with the Purification Dance. And then from here, you can use the Abaresk to summon one of 2 cards. You can either summon Nini in order to bounce that, and then equip her with this, so you get to steal your opponent's monster, and then you can bounce it away through the effect of Nini. Or you can also, and probably what's the better route will be, you'll summon the Huli and equip this to that, and then you'll trigger Huli's effect in order to grab Rivalry from the deck, and then you can equip the Purification Dance onto the Huli, so that when you steal their monster through the effect of Rivalry, equipping a Rondo to it, you can then bounce it away to bounce their other monster they summon out back with the Purification Dance. If you open with the Rondo, then it's a bit different. If you open with Rondo, you probably will go with the Mikanko. What would we go? You'll probably go with the Nini line, so that you can still get the steal and the bounce. This combo is if you open with Huli and Abaresk. So you'll summon the Huli and equip her with the Abaresk. This will then trigger her effect to search for Rivalry. Or you can search Promise if you've got a means to put another equip in the graveyard. You're then going to activate the Abaresk effect in order to search from your deck either Hare or Nini. And then, kind of like the other one, you'll just have Hare search something. So you'll special summon Hare and equip, and then return this to the hand. Hare will then trigger, allowing you to search the Purification Dance or the Sword Dance. In this instance, I think I would go for the Sword Dance, just because I like having Huli in play more in order to prevent my stuff from being targeted. So I would probably go with the Mikanko Fire Dance to summon back the Huli. And then I would set the Rivalry and pass. From there, you can have the Rivalry either take their monster with Rondo, or you can equip Purification Dance onto the Hare, and then Hare would search another equip spell, and probably Maya Shidori, or another, not another Abaresk. Yeah, you probably would search the Maya Shidori or the Purification Dance if you don't already have it, and you would go from there. Now let's see what we can do when we open with only Ohime plus a discard. So, Ohime will activate her effect in order to search Ceremony. Then discard the unnamed card. Then we'll activate a Ceremony, special Ohime, banish the Ceremony in order to send Abaresk to graveyard. You'll then use Ohime, target the Abaresk, and equip it to her. And then you'll activate the effect of Abaresk in order to summon a name from your deck. And you have all 3 options here. It just comes down to what else you have in your hand. The absolute minimal would be you summon Nini and bounce Ohime back, and then Nini can steal your opponent's monster during their turn, but she gives it back. So there's that. This probably is the play you go for if you get Drolled after you've resolved Ohime, because you can at least set this up under Droll, whereas the Hare and Huli lines you can't do under Droll. I mean, Huli can at least just sit there and protect your stuff from stuff, but you're not really interacting with your opponent, so there is that. So if you special summon Huli and then bounce back Ohime, the Huli will then search the Rivalry, which gives you the Snatch Steal during your opponent's turn, or you can equip Purification Dance to bounce their dude back. Or if you've already got a name in the hand and you can put equip in the graveyard through other means, such as Ohime discarded Purification Dance for her effect, then you can grab Rivalry from the, and then set the Rivalry, and then have Rivalry bring out Nini, equip Purification Dance, and you can do that line. And then if you summon you summon Hare off of this, Hare, instead of getting you the trap, is going to get you the Purification Dance or the Fire Dance if you've already got another name in the hand, or you discarded another name to the graveyard. You can also grab Maya Shidori, but there are different things you can do if you open with a monster in Ohime. This is just like the absolute minimum of what you can do if you open with only Ohime. Now this hand can be in one of two variants, but it's going to be Ohime plus Hare or Huli, and what you make with it is going to be overall the same kind of M board. So Ohime with your Hare or Huli is going to search Ceremony, and then it's going to discard your Hare or Huli. You'll then activate Ceremony, special summoning Ohime, and then you're going to banish your Ceremony from the graveyard in order to send Maya Shidori from your deck to the graveyard. Maya Shidori is then going to target your Hare or Huli and special summon it back to the field, which will then trigger its effect. With Hare, you're going to grab Aberrask, and which you will then equip to the Ohime, and then the Aberrask is going to summon the Huli. Defense position going first, attack position going second. Mind you, if you're going second, you're going to equip the Aberrask onto your opponent's monster and go from there. But since we're looking at this as from going first, we'll just summon these in defense. But summon Huli, bounce back Ohime, Huli effect, grab Rivalry, or grab your Promise if you've already got Rivalry. Alternatively, if you are... no, forget that. And then set the Rivalry, go into the opponent's turn. On their turn, you activate Rivalry. You can either equip Rondo to their monster to take it, or you can equip Purification Dance onto the Hare. And this will trigger Hare's effect in order to search another equip, which will most likely be Fire Dance. And then going into the next turn, you've got Ohime with a Fire Dance in hand. So you can go Ceremony. You can have Ohime search Ceremony and then discard a random card. Ideally the Fire Dance, because then the Rivalry in the graveyard will banish itself to add Fire Dance back to hand. And then you can special summon Ohime off of Ceremony, banish the Ceremony to send another Hare to the graveyard, since this one obviously got banished off of the Purification Dance, if you end up using that. And then you can use the Fire Dance to bring back the Hare, which will then trigger the Hare to get another search. And you can use Aberrask in order to special summon out Nini, and you can go for a push. Like I said, this is pretty much the same as the last one. It's just your end board is a little different. So Ohime will search Ceremony, discard the Huli. You'll activate Ceremony, special summon Ohime, and then you're going to banish the Huli out of the graveyard in order to send Maya Shidori from your deck to the graveyard. Maya Shidori will activate, so special summon Huli, trigger Huli, and get Rivalry. And then you'll pass the turn. Like before, you can target their monster with Rivalry in order to equip a Rondo to it and steal it. Or you can target your Ohime and equip a Purification Dance to it, which will then allow you to bounce the Ohime plus their special summoned monster back to the hand. Ohime is going back to your hand anyway, so it is a benefit for you. You might as well get some value out of it. Not to mention, Rivalry will then trigger here, allowing you to banish to add back the Purification Dance, so that you have a discard for Ohime on the next turn, and you can try and go for some follow-up afterwards. So you're probably thinking, if you open Ohime and Huli, or Ohime and Hare, you may have noticed that Maya Shidori is a pretty powerful part of that combo, and it does work the opposite way like you're thinking. If you open with Ohime and Maya Shidori, then you can do a similar thing. You can search Ceremony, discard the Maya Shidori, and then activate Ceremony, special Ohime, and then banish the Ceremony to put Hare or Huli into the graveyard, because Ceremony doesn't only put equips in the graveyard, it also puts Makanko cards to the graveyard. So then you can activate Maya Shidori, special summon back, equipped, trigger the effect of Hare, and then equip this to Ohime, and you go from there. You're going to summon your Huli, you're going to get your search, and then that would be the end of the turn.